For most of my career, I've been following the story of the progressive movement as a documentary filmmaker covering the erosion of civil liberties after 9/11, the rise of the Netroots with Howard Dean's campaign in 2004, police shootings in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, as a filmmaker on the staff of the Obama campaign in 2008, as a talk show producer at MSNBC during Occupy in 2011. I've even covered the flip side of that movement when I was at Vice. I took a ride on the Tea Party Express bus and then filmed a bunch of right-wing militia guys at a paint gun range while they trained for what they called, quote, the Second American Revolution. That was in 2009, and today in 2020, the, quote, revolution or civil war those guys were preparing for feels a lot less like cosplay and more like a dark premonition of things to come, perhaps as early as next week. The story of the progressive movement is approaching a turning point as it faces both a fascist right-wing movement and a liberal wing vainly hoping that civility and norms will maintain this capitalist status quo. Up until this moment, true progress has come slowly, haltingly. The infrastructure that professional progressive organizations have put in place has created space for new growth while the old structures begin to crumble. But the current progressive infrastructure also has excluded its potentially most powerful force. And it does so in a way that is actually very cold and cruel. It says to girls and women, dream big, we need you, run for office, believe in yourself, you're the future. And then if a woman does put herself out there and she's someone who loses her health care when she leaves her job to run for office, or she's a mom who can't afford childcare when she leaves her job to run for office, or she's a normal person who doesn't have a Rolodex of friends and family member able to dole out $500 checks, then very often the progressive movement turns its back on her and acts like she's invisible. The progressive movement says, come back to us when you make some rich friends and can play the game properly. That gap, the one that exists between the sort of ambient you go girl rhetoric and the reality of running for office when you're a progressive working class woman, and especially when you're a working class woman of color, that gap is what Matriarch was built for. Our mission is to find the strongest, most tenacious, most inspiring women out there and support them from day one before they can, quote, prove to us that they can hit the fundraising numbers that the professional political class obsesses over. We find raw talent and we nurture it and connect it to other amazing women across the country who are facing similar obstacles while they seize openings to build progressive power. Our 2020 freshman class of Matriarch candidates built a truly powerful and inspiring sisterhood as they ran for office during a pandemic, from Washington State to Arizona to Missouri to Georgia to New York. And Matriarch was there to fill the gaps with regular trainings on FEC filings, on how to deal with the press, how to tell their stories, and how to build their team, all the stuff that nobody tells you when you're starting out alone without connections or a powerful family name. So anyway, as I said, I've been following the story of the progressive movement since I was sent down to Florida by CNN to cover the election recount story in 2000. I'm still waiting for the good guys to win. I'm convinced that progressive working class women are the heroes we've been waiting for. And even more specifically, Cori Bush, a Matriarch co-founder and star of our 2020 class of candidates, is the hero I've been waiting for. You'll hear from her later tonight. And oh my God, get ready for so much winning when you do.